Hey guys, so in this video we'll quickly review the simple pendulum experiment that we do in the mechanics lab. So in this experiment you have a simple pendulum. Of course it's a mass hanging from a string. Okay. So the aim of this experiment is to calculate the value of g. The actual value is 9.8 meters per second squared. So you will calculate an experimental value in this experiment. Okay. So the way to perform this experiment is to measure the time period for the oscillations of the pendulum for different lengths of the string. Okay, so let's see what data you have to collect. So what you're going to do is you're going to make a table in which you have a column for the length of the pendulum and then time for 10 oscillations. You'll take 3 readings for that. Okay, and then you will calculate the average time, and then so the average is of course going to be the sum of the time divided by 3, okay, for each length. And then the time period, since you're measuring the time for 10 oscillations, you have to divide the average time by 10, okay, to get the time period, because the time period is the time for one oscillation. Okay, and then you will create a column with this squared. Okay, so this is time period squared. And what you have to do next, once you collect data, is that you have to make a plot of t squared versus L. The time period of a simple pendulum is given by this equation, 2 pi square root L over g, where L is the length of the pendulum and g is the value of the gravitational acceleration. Okay, so if you square this equation, you get 4 pi squared L over g. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a plot of t squared versus L. Okay, so if you make a plot of t squared versus L, you will get 4 pi squared over g as the slope. So once you have your data and you plot and you draw a fading line in Excel will give you this equation. Okay, so you get a value of slope from Excel. What you're going to do is you're going to plug that slope equal to 4 pi squared over g. So this is going to give you your experimental value of g. Okay, so g experimental is just going to be 4 pi squared over the slope that you get from Excel. Okay, and just one thing, that when you measure the time period of the pendulum, so it's the time for one oscillation. When you let it go, you start the time. You start the time. Okay, and this is one complete oscillation. Okay, this is one complete oscillation, and then you will do it for another. So you'll measure the time for 10 oscillations. Okay, remember, this is one complete oscillation. Okay, so that was it for the simple pendulum experiment. Okay, so if you have any questions, post them in the comments. Thank you for watching.